10 seconds remaining.
Enigma.
Radiant team ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time. Dire team ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time. Dire team pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Ursa Warrior.
Radiant team pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
Venomancer. changer this game from what I can tell. So it looks like it is going to be that Veno that actually goes as a carry. I mean, what you want is just mobility. You could essentially kite out this Ursa, Venomous Gale, really strong this game on the Lone Druid and on the Ursa, and then you get like a 4-staff on 2 or 3 heroes, and you're able to just really reposition the fights extremely well. You also can combo up Gale really well with the Underlord's Pit of Malice, and you're able to get at least 2 roots out of that one. So comboing that up with the Earthbind, the Pit of Malice, the Gale, it's just like you're trudging through a swamp here if you're NP, and it's so difficult for you to stay on target.
Well, there's our 5-man spread here. It's actually, I find myself having a difficult time evaluating the draft and making an early prediction as far as who's going to be able to get the upper hand on this. I felt like it started really nice for OnyX. I mean, you're leading in, you get the Underlord, huge pickup early, and then because, you know, they're giving a lot of respect for the Kardel and Ember bans, you get your Abed Meepo then, and they had the great counter for the Silencer, but then, yeah, you know, MP move on, they have the Enigma, such a tremendous amount of sustain, ridiculous amounts of lockdown and stun. It feels like it's more execution heavy for MP, but you know, these guys have been around the block for a while. You know, they've had similar kind of lineups. Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to call.
The big lane I'm worried about is MSS. I haven't actually seen Enigma go offlane in 7.0, so I'm wondering how the changes affected him. If he's, I guess he's a hero that can really make use of the Shrine in both mana and HP, because you can just keep on spamming out Eidolons. Whenever you get harassed too significantly, then you can bail out. But I feel like it's also a hero that can be vulnerable to dives a little bit. Obviously, the Spirit Breaker and Venomancer are happy to oblige in that capacity. So yeah, we're gonna see MSS. He starts off with the Blightstone, really looking to poke hard with these demonic conversions.
Only one TP movement here, and it's going to be from the side of MP as Rose takes flight. He sports 2 ob, pops 1 down. And OnyX are moving more as a 5-man smoke here. Could find themselves crossing paths with Rose soon.
Very close call.
Is very deep.
Lots of pings.
Pings are all over.
He doesn't
the
have
place.
a TP either.
Smokes
he should be dead.
Popped. Yeah, Rose is in certain trouble. He tries to go for the flight, but he's not going to be flying too far. And it looks like first blood's going to be handed over. Who's going to go for the last hit? It's going to be Bulba picking it up there. All right. Well, do you think it was worth the journey? They get the 1 obs down. He's
what kind of question is that, Dakota? You both smoke. Like, they got exactly what they wanted from that, honestly. Like, for your first blood, some information about exactly what the Wyvern was up to as well. And now they're even going to look to invade the enemy bounty rune. So this is going to be, it looks like a triple bounty for OnyX to start things off. We do see Aoi 2000 looking at the Radiant's top bounty rune. So it should be 2 for 2 in the end, but still pretty interesting. That being said, yeah, I'm mostly looking to see what Rose has in store for us past that first blood, because he's actually the one sporting the boots. It's going to be a 5-position SVG Witch Doctor, and it's going to be this Wyvern who's trying to make more things happen.
Yeah, I mean, the most aggressive support Wyverns I've seen is like when Navi Soniko was like pulling it out at the start. You'd see him flying over the cliff here in the mid lane and sniping at the mid laner with Arctic Burn, which we may just see here and now.
I mean, I think he just wants the courier.
It's great, but it's such a long cooldown. Like, you got to get the first one off, and you got to really make a lot out of it. And as you said, it could be just waiting for the courier to come, which for now is not really on move. So we'll have to see how much patience Rose is actually going to have there. Yeah, because he could be waiting quite a while.
Yeah, Abed feels like he doesn't actually need the healing self. He's not up against the Ursa, by the way. He is up against the Lone Druid. And in this case, yeah, he's got his boots queued up, and still going to be another 100 gold before that heads out. So Rose walks out, the Observer Ward spots him, and it's just going to be Bulba taking a little bit of harassment, but being overall quite fine. But this Enigma is actually the interesting one, I think. Down in bottom lane, how he moves his Eidolons is very important, because he can either put out a ton of harassment onto Mason, or he could be feeding a lot of gold the other way.
For now, he sports his early level 2, but I don't imagine there's going to be an overwhelming amount of pressure. Now, Dubu's going to be tied to this bottom lane because of their dual lane setups and assistance for Bulba at the top lane by Demon. Means that the Spirit Breaker is just kind of going to be locked here for now. So is that going to be a bit of a problem for OnyX for their mid lane? I don't know too much, obviously, about the Meepo versus Lone Druid matchup here. But for now, they're just kind of neck and neck in CS, but I don't know how things will pan out when levels start coming in.
Both players are very experienced on these heroes. I used to actually play a lot of Lone Druid before he switched to support back in the day. So he knows about the level 5 timing and how important it is to really use the PRD and make sure that your Tingling Claws hit on heroes. So I think Aoi should be in a good position when level 5 comes out, but he's still going to need some help, some rotation, some support. The Ursa was the one that's going to win his lane, and it looks like they prioritized winning the lane over the Underlord rather than winning the lane over the Meepo. But at the end of the day, I think that most of it comes down to Aoi's going to get the levels, he's going to get 5, and then he's going to have no lane opponent because Abed's just going to be jungling.
But who farms faster at that point? I mean, an Abed jungling Meepo, probably one of the most efficient in the game here. We have to pose this thought. Harassment comes out from MP here in the top lane, but nothing too serious. But, you know, Abed's flash farming, jungling, multi-use of his Meepos, does that beat out an Aoi free farming in the lane?
Well, I would definitely say so. He's not actually using Iron Talon though, so that will reduce his efficiency a little bit. And one of his clones is still in the lane getting experience. So while he's not CSing much in mid, he's continuously farming gradually in the jungle.
Dubu obviously not able to go cross-country for a lot of his harassment game early on, but he's putting the most here onto MSS, even finishes off with a cute little bash there at the end, makes his mark, and then goes back home to maybe look for another setup elsewhere.
Great potential swap up top though. Right now, Demon's actually going to be the one TPing. Oh, unfortunately he TPs back to base rather than I think the tier 1 tower would have been a much better TP position because they could actually reinforce this really quickly. That being said, Shrine, not going to be the sustaining tool. It looks like, yeah, Bulba used the Shrine, then jungles a little bit and heads back. If what they can do, when you force 2 TPs like that, and one of them did get canceled, but when you get the Witch Doctor down bottom, that sets up a 3v2 play up top, where you can quickly swap over. The Spirit Breaker is really good at this, where you can suddenly change your lane priority, and you can start really pressuring the Wyvern. So I thought that that's what they were going to go for, but Demon TPs all the way back to the fountain and ends up heading bottom.
Abed in trouble, rooted down from Aoi, and he gets it done. Oh man, just managed to lock him in his place. They were neck and neck in CS to that point, but Aoi is going to be able to take the initiative now.
Yeah, don't mess with a level 5 lone druid. That guy is going to be getting some really hard entangles against you, and there's really very little you can do at that point. You can try to poop out and try to always have your kind of get out jail free card in your back pocket, but any additional hero and that's going to be shut down.
Olba continues to try to contest to get every bit of extra money as he steals another bounty rune from the side of NP. So big and bad though, he walks away from all that pesky little support harassment, leaving Dubu to the lane to kind of work for himself. But it's still kind of awkward for Dubu. Can't really hold his own in the lane, and there's not obviously anyone he can really jump on at this point in the laning phase elsewhere. A go on low druid would just mean certain doom, at least for now. We'll have to see if he's going to be able to partner up with anybody and get some action underway if that's what they want.
This is a very heavy tempo from Abed. Not going for the Iron Talon at all. He's going straight for Dragon Lances, and it looks like he just wants to start fighting extremely early on. Have MSS TP out. He TPs to the tier 1, so he'll be able to, well, the Shrine's not available, and it's actually getting charged under tower. No, Dubu cancels it out in the end. But still, yeah, able to stay in the lane and keep getting experience.
Obviously don't want to overcommit. We've already seen MP pull the trigger on some quick tier 1 TPs. I would suspect they could look to do the same, so probably the wise decision there from OnyX, but they're still eyeballing this bottom lane or any opportunity for MSS to overstep. But still SVG and Rose keeping themselves in the dark, or at least they think they're in the dark. That ward still continues to give so much intel to OnyX right now. It's going to be expiring now, but does give them the idea that there could be trouble coming to this bottom lane soon. Yeah,
they didn't see the smoke, but they definitely saw these 2 heroes down in that general part of the map, so should be at least generally prepared. And it's not going to be a Spirit Breaker and then Wyvern that cross paths, which I think means no fight's going to happen. Neither one really wanting to engage so far off of the lane.
Yeah, Dubu spotting that out certainly helps the case for OnyX.
Yeah.
MP are not going to be comfortable converging whatsoever, and they'll just have to take their business up and elsewhere. Olba, 6 minutes, so it's another bounty room he may fight for, but it looks like he knows that he'll cross paths with Envy, and that is a fight he would not win, so he will, they see you later. Heads back to the lane here. So back to a bit of the calm. Abed, the grind continues here in the jungle. The first Dragonlance almost done. Meepo is looking to build up to that point where he becomes unleashed. What is that point for a Meepo, you'd say? Like, what item, what level does he begin to, you know, go on his merry way?
I mean, obviously when he gets his second ultimate point and he gets a third Meepo is really good. As far as initiating though, that's kind of the key thing, is whether or not either the Veno, the Spear Breaker, or the Underlord is able to allow him to get on target, or if he needs a Blink Dagger to do that. I think that it's really important for Meepo to be able to close distance and to find targets with and not have a lot of time running around between his target and a safe position. So in general, I would say when one Dragonlance and a Blink Dagger is up, or obviously the Ags, if he has it available, will give him the durability he needs to just run up to him. So it comes down to really playstyle, and if OnyX are able to get the initiation off so that Meepo can just kind of walk it in.
Now we beginning to really rip through that mid-tier 1 as there's an approach for Demon in the bottom lane. A man left alone, and within the trees, a black hole will even be committed just to ensure that kill secured. As MP pull ahead now 2-1, they'll also take that tier 1. In the mid lane, Bulba's kind of stepped in to help the defender, while top lane, a charge is out for Envy here. Can Mason and Dugu do enough? Nope, TP's going to be rotated out. Envy pops his ulti. Should be able to shrug out the damage.
Yeah. Not a lot of Venomancer's abilities can be dispelled, but that Poisonous Gale can be dispelled by the strong Dispel of the Enrage. So in this position, yeah, he just has to wait for that, and he should be okay to at least play safe under tower. But it also offers another opportunity for them to go in. I mean, they still have vision, they have charge back up, and it's on cooldown for 30 seconds.
Yeah, Envy's losing a lot of his life here.
Yeah.
They saw him walk right over here. They're pinging him out right now. Blue is close by. Bulba should be able to set up the easy set of nukes, and they should be able to get the takedown. Cold Embrace will come out from Rose. They're really making him work for it here, but they'll finally get it done. Probably not enough to be able to make the follow-up play happen there for Rose, but they have been parked here, and they'll finally earn their kill. In the meantime, MP do trade. They take a tier 1 in the bottom lane.
Yep, just popping out the battle cry and clearing that up, no problem at all, and just doing what Lone Druid does. And top tier 1's going to be falling as well, so that on that front they're even, and the kill scores kind of evened out as well. A big thing in my mind is when these ultimates start coming online. If we look at overall levels, you got 3 heroes still at level 4, a Wyvern kind of leading the pack of the supports at level 5, and it's really important when some of these ultis start coming out. We talked about the Global Silence and its interaction against a lot of these abilities, but getting out an earlier Death Ward can be very impactful, and of course, being able to Nether Strike and kind of secure those ganks as well.
There's been an approach here from NP into this bottom lane for quite a while. Demon continues to wait within the trees, but doesn't look like there's going to be any comfortable openings here for either side. Some good wards from NP. Nice deep one is going to be able to spot this rotation over, and they'll go back to the drawing board of farm for now, which in the meantime they're kind of neck and neck, looks like, here for OnyX. I mean, Lone Druid and Meepo share about the same in the net worth, and Mason and Envy also pretty neck and neck.
Yeah, a very close game, and it could explode one way or another very quickly with heroes like Ursa and Meepo on the board. One thing that I really like about NP's overall game plan right now, though, is they're really controlling Meepo's access to farm. Like, the fact is, they have an Observer Ward and a couple of heroes being very present in the Radiant jungle, and it's shutting down 3 camps that he otherwise would be free farming right about now.
Yeah, I look away one moment, he's about to finish his Dragonlance, okay? I look back, he has 2, so...
I mean, that's the strength of the Meepo. He just kind of starts exploding more and more and more. He'll get Aghanims, he'll get another point divided withstand, and suddenly all 5 Meepos will be just ramping up the money because he's able to finding kills, he keep finding farm. Like, this hero just is all about this kind of explosion of critical mass here around like the 15 to 20 minute mark.
It does feel like there's just going to be like a certain trigger point that OnyX could just begin to almost stampede towards NP with. Speaking of stampedes, Dugu will charge out from trouble here in the top lane, but bottom we catch the back end of it. SVG probably going on his own little covert mission to get some wards down or something, just far from home and in enemy territory. He gets spotted, he gets punished. But, you know, there's going to be the point here where Bulba is getting closer to finishing out the mech. Demon has finally got to his level 6. I'm sure Atome helped with that, and he's got his global online. You're acknowledging Meepo really coming into his prime here soon and being able to take some fights. Mason's Veil is now complete. So is this time for OnyX to maybe consider some 5-manning?
Oh, they still want to get the Tool of Initiation. That's Abed getting a Blink Dagger. Obviously, they have a couple of good abilities that are decent at relatively long range, but you're still up against a lot of fast heroes. So unless Dugu connects, as we look to do so top, he gets 1 bash, but he's going to need a lot more if he's going to be able to stay on Howick.
Demons on the other side could end up walking past the rest of NP, or looking to come over and help out as reinforcements here. The Maledict's going to connect onto Demon. He's going to be forced to retreat, but they're hitting him with a lot. I'll have to heal him up a bit, but he has got to step on back. MP fully converge for assistance while we have Abed still farming through this bottom lane. Just no opportunity there. OnyX, we're hoping to get the jump on something, but MP are there defensively to help out Envy. Aoi.
Yeah, and Abed does go for the treads before the blink, so delaying his timing window a little bit, but making it that much more potent when he finishes it up. So very, very shortly, Abed will be ready to rumble, and everybody's going to be happy to fight with him. Right now, 2 heroes lacking their level 6. Dubu is about to find his, and SPG is still half a level away. These ultimates obviously very important because, like we talked about before, you can only global one of the 2 channeled abilities. So that enables either Witch Doctor or Enigma to have a really good ultimate out in these fights, and just offers more ideas in terms of positioning. As you alluded to though, with Mason's Veil, it seems like they have the better damage output right now, and yeah, they're just looking to continue to put pressure on each and every lane, bottom and mid tier 1 being chipped away at.
Alright, lots of level 6s ready to go here. Mason starts things off, just creeping these wards forward, but MP do have access to Aoi to help bring them down, and in the meantime, here they go. They're smoking, wrapping up and around, hoping to get the jump on OnyX, but what are OnyX doing? They're wrapping up and around the other side, and could find themselves in a high ground advantage if MP continue to cross the lane here.
No scans from either side, surprisingly, and that means they're going to just find a blind opening here. Venomancer gets the Plague Ward out, the smoke breaks, and the smoke fails.
Seen this story once already this game. MP not going to be able to get some leverage and try to make a flank play onto OnyX. OnyX already head elsewhere and will continue their farm game. And if that continues to be the case, like, who does that benefit more? If we end up going back to, okay, back to the farm game, and we're farming some more, and we're farming some more. Is that a greater thing for OnyX or a greater thing for NP?
That's actually a really difficult question to answer because, like, long term, NP are going to want the most farm in this game. They're at the latest stage of the game, they're going to be the ones who want to have the most items, actually.
Yeah, they've already made their move onto Aoi here. Dubu was parked within the trees. There's going to be the charge. There's another strike. Global comes out as SVG rotates in to help, but it's so much heal, so much sustain that they're not going to be able to get it done. Bulba says, we got to go, or I got to go at least. Jeez, out of there.
And nobody dies out of all of that, amazingly. Down bottom, there might be an ultimate coming in. Winter's Curse is available here for Abed, but they need TP reinforcement, and only the Ursa has it. There it is, Ursa coming in. Abed!
Off the ulti, there it is. And that should be good enough. NP will wait for the ulti to conclude and finish what had been started by Rose. Nicely set up there from NP. Abed goes down.
Now, little delay from NP means that they do lose the tower in the process, but that probably was going to be going down soon anyways. But yeah, they kept the Lone Druid alive up top, which is just outstanding. But to go back to your question of who values farm significantly more, NP in the long term are going to want the most. But right now, every item spikes Meepo's power so much because he's able to get 6 slotted so quickly, and then he might just be able to snowball the game off of just this double Dragon Lance, Aghanim's Ethereal Blade. If he can do that, then I mean, obviously that's going to give the most farm priority to Meepo and to his team OnyX, but long-term NP want to drag this one out.
After a hard hit there, losing Abed and not being able to get the finish onto Aoi, OnyX try to shake it off and get themselves back into action now. They smoke up and head up into NP neck of the woods and see another possible opportunity to make the go onto Aoi. MSS is here. There is a black hole. There is no global silence on Demon. He used it in that previous fight, and it's going to be out for 30 seconds, but they're looking to make the go regardless, and there it is. A quick jump onto Aoi. This time, he's taken out with really no chance whatsoever. Rose comes in. He does have Winter's Curse back up.
This is a really tough fight without the Lone Druid. I think they just have to focus on defending the tier 2. I mean, they really didn't pop anything to bring him down. They just jump him hardcore, and
yeah.
At this point, while OnyX might not be able to push the next objective, NP can't take a fight.
NP got to be careful, not go too far on that leash away from his team. He's got backup nearby, great support and team fighters, but without having Aoi as your real X factor, it's a bit hesitant here for MP as OnyX make the move into the Roche. Wolf heading up ahead, they're going to quickly take control of the Wolf. The cast is going to be flying out though. We will charge off and away from being in a bit of trouble. And MP obviously not looking to let OnyX just slide themselves into getting that extra life, and it is going to be enough to deter them for now.
Very important that they keep the Roshan out of Meepo's hands as well. The Aegis is Meepo is arguably the best hero to have Aegis on. That resets the HP and mana of every one of his clones. So very, very potent. But at this point in time, Ursa obviously better at taking it. Meepo hungrier for it. So key objective for both sides, and I think it'll probably just be guarded for the most part. Nobody really wants to commit to the pit.
Smoke here from OnyX if they can get a casual approach, but the smoke is popped. They have the ward down, and they charge on the SPG who's trying to just ward that high ground. He will get focused and probably dealt with. No, he pops the shrine. He's going to be fine. They turn it back instead onto Dubu, and they'll be able to bring him down. OnyX trying to move in to get the leverage, but end up losing one. They end up getting the ward down, but obviously they'll know that there's a new ward up there and take care of it.
Yeah, I love the pit placement from Bulba there, making it so there's no way they can go for the choke, but... it dangles. No way.
Too. I don't think there would have been much chance for him to make it away regardless, but that reassures it, and that could assure NP now moving into the pit without too much trouble.
Veno has to buy back if they want to commit to this pit at all. I think they should, but at the same time, their timing window is very limited. Timing window is very limited, and we'll see the charge come in. No Veno buyback yet.
Oh, Abed looking to go in, gets off the early Earthbind. Where are the poofs? The Global's going to be coming out right now, but that cast was already dished out, and it locks them in their place. Envy's going to be able to snag up the Aegis for himself. And now the Death Ward comes out from SVG and shreds them apart. Envy on the other side looking to isolate Demon and take him down. Can they get it? We can get the finish.
So Venomancer completely useless in that fight. He buys back, he TPs the shrine, but the fight's already done by the time he gets there.
MP keeps chasing. Maybe Mason could turn around with a big Poison Nova, but it doesn't look like they will.
But at this point, he would have already respawned. Like, if you are going to take that pit fight, you go. You have to buy back very quickly and get to the shrine, get into the pit, and get that Gale out. I mean, he has a level 2 Gale, he has the Veil of Discord, tons of damage rests in him, and yet there was hesitation on that call. If they don't commit to the pit, if they let the Aegis go, that's an option, and then you don't have to buy back. But they need to make a quick decision, and they hesitated, and it definitely cost them.
Maybe in hopes of getting someone to jump onto Bulba there, he drops the preemptive pit, but MP not quick to make any hasty decisions here. They're very satisfied with their position in this game. It had been pretty neck and neck up to this point, but being able to take that good skirmish, that Roche, this puts MP back up into a comfortable level, so it's better for them to step back, make sure all those cooldowns are off. There's so much winning's already going their way that they'll be happy to dictate things moving forward.
And now MP don't have to stay in this area. They don't have to control the Roche pit for a very long period of time. Yeah, they don't get to keep the Aegis out of that exchange, but they made sure that Meepo doesn't get it, and that's the big deal here. Meepo, he'll farm up to his next Z-Blade. He can get that pretty quickly, but after that, like, he doesn't get much scarier than this. Like, he can build himself up a little bit more BOTs instead of treads, a couple of E-Blades, or maybe like a Scotty or a Heart instead, but in general, like, as it stands...
I mean, I dare ask the question. You're saying it doesn't get scarier than this. I'm like, has he been scary yet, is the thing. I mean, that could be credit to MP, making sure he's not able to be the scary Meepo we're used to seeing here, but he's been forced into, like, this farming-orientated. We're not able to really see him get pickoffs, take big leaps into these team fights.
Yeah, I think that's a fair point. I feel he has been hunted more than he's been the hunter, and a lot of it comes down to NP's map movement. He's 1-3-1 right now, and I would say right now he's theoretically scary. Like, he has the potential to just blow somebody up. He's terrifying in that capacity because that's the nature of the hero. But you're right. In this game, the way that he's been played and the way NP have played against him, he really hasn't gotten enough done.
Is under attack.
Things moving forward here as OnyX make their new approach towards the tier 2 here in the top lane. NP side, they're already working on a tier 2 here in the bottom lane, so it should be a quick trade for them. Will they rotate up to the top lane, though, to defend it? Rose is already here. He's glimmering. He's looking to go in and set up the ulti. Leads it up with a Splinter Blast, and there it goes. And the Meepo begins to turn onto himself. And there he gets finished. Easily done there from Rose to set things up, leading him to Glimmer Cape. And now MP looking to grab a hold of anyone who doesn't make it out in time. Dubu, will be able to charge away before the Malthus will fly out from MSS. One victim, and it's Abed.
Yeah, tried to save him, Demon. As soon as he sees a Wyvern, he slams out the Global Silence, but it's just a moment too late. And the Witch's Curse comes out. And it's such a good counter to the hero. And it's the reason why first picking Meepo is such a dangerous thing to do. 4th pick, 5th pick, Meepo is such a strong hero to draft. In fact, probably the strongest 5th pick in the game. but when you have enough counters in play, specifically this Wyvern, then yeah, it's actually a hero that can be dealt with, as we've seen a couple of times from Roshan.
And it's always available, each and every fight. The cooldown's so nice, and something obviously MP were probably prepared for pre-draft. And I would imagine not going to be looking to acknowledge a first phase ban of Meepo at all moving forward here, but MP gets blocked from Dubu, but Dubu just absolutely can't move as he just locked in his spot and eats a facial of a death ward there.
Yeah, MSS and SVG coming up there very nicely. Between the Malefice and the cast, there's no way that he finishes that Nether Strike, and he just gets locked in on the Midnight Pulse Death Ward, so... yeah, twice now, Dubu kind of gets isolated, tries to over-initiate and overachieve, and here he's not finding the kills that he needs. Instead, it's his entire team that's sitting behind saying, well, we really can't do anything. Here's a Pit of Malice, here's some fire, but there's no boom. And I think that comes down to the fact that Global Silence is still on cooldown. He used it up top, didn't end up saving Abed, and now Jimmy's just waiting for an opportunity for them to actually take a real fight.
MP now cleared out. All but one remaining tier 2 here in the mid lane. This goes down, shrines become available. More money to trickle in for MP on this one, but they are not shying away from any opportunity to maybe take a fight. Mason pushes out the top lane and he uses his wards to try to not allow MP to get the jump on them as Owie continues this ridiculous long-range siege. No threat whatsoever, and now the tier 2s are going to be down. On the other side of things, Abed moving through very deep. It's just farming, splitting the waves, doing what he can here to keep the game alive.
All right, MSS actually gets a blink back and scares off Dubu. A little hesitation, and now he's in trouble. One more hit would have brought him down, but a nice little force staff.
We're not done yet. Owie from downtown there, almost. Adds in the extra bit of pepper to get the finish, but looks like a very thankful Dubu will be able to make it back and away. And people just settle for the shrine instead, round back up and around the corner here, and then, I don't know, maybe play with the clock, wait for the next Roche. We'll have to see.
Yeah, and yeah, Abed is pretty much nearing his maximum potential here. 25 agility from the Eagle Song, finishes up the E-Blade to complete that to 40, and then that's about all you really got in the tank. I mean, yeah, you'll go BOTs, you'll get either another E-Blade or a tanky item, but in the end, I actually feel like NP have addressed this threat very handedly. It just goes to show that while Meepo can be one of the best picks in the game, it's just not one that you can just throw in there willy-nilly. You have to plan when you're going to draft it. And the way I expect the future drafts for this to play out is that NP will just ban out Meepo Phase 2, and they will counterpick Meepo in Phase 1. So if OnyX ever really decides to go all in for that Meepo, there's going to be answers. And it's heroes like this Winter Wyvern.
You don't suppose there's a world where OnyX just first phase banned the Wyvern and still first pick the Meepo, right?
Well, I guess it depends on the order. If I saw a Wyvern ban Phase 1, I would probably be banning Meepo against OnyX, even if it was Phase 1. That would change up the whole spectrum, though. There's so many more heroes that enter the pool in that case.
Here we see MP able to go from the coast-to-coast shrine takedowns, and now we'll just segue down this top lane in hopes of making their first approach actually inside the OnyX base. OnyX, however, they're waiting to see if someone rotates down to this bottom lane and maybe they can get the jump onto them.
Oh, Rose going in hard. He TP'd down solo, and he's actually going on Mason here.
Oh, but Envy showed up. They TP'd back to the shrine, and they're going to be able to get the jump on them. Dubu was hanging out still on the side, but he's just going to be the one-by-one feed. Now, it has been able to pull off the attention of MP pushing in that top lane, but, you know, losing Mason, losing Dubu certainly just, you know, they don't help at the end of the day.
Still an extremely good read on that situation, because when you look at it, NP had more potential to push the Radiant Tier 3 than OnyX had to push the Dire Tier 2. So obviously, in that situation, OnyX is the one that has to back. OnyX is the one that has to go back to their base because they have more to lose. So in that situation, Rose just smokes TP's back and says, okay, well, while they're retreating, we'll split them in half, divide and conquer, and they take out half the team like that. Really good movement that a lot of players wouldn't see. That's, I mean, 1437, he's been in the game a long time, he's been coaching a long time, like he really studies those kinds of movements and those next level plays, and you just saw it right there.
Well, it helps keep them up on top right now. They're not going to be able to push too far forward to make up for the bit of timing while they are out of the game, but they will get to push your bottom. You know, the fortunate thing with this Meepo Abed is you know, just as they were about to push into the base in that top lane, now look where the top lane is, already back up towards this tier 2. Just get it right back of the way to MP, and they're only going to have to start over once again on just trying to get some momentum across the river. Probably will come around once again on a new Roche fight, but you know, MP can take the time instead to kind of build up these next big set of items here. I see SVG sporting a good chunk of change. Owie is looking to finish out. It looks like the build towards an AC. I mean, he has a Hyperstone for now. So
Yeah, Mjolnir probably just to
you're right,
make sure that he has all that damage flying out. But
of course.
I do want to draw some attention to a unique talent choice. It's actually not the uncommon one, in the sense that Meepo at level 20 decided to go for attack speed over evasion. This is technically a higher win rate. This is technically actually offers more to the Meepo in a general sense, as Spearbreaker gets picked off here towards the mid lane. But in this situation, evading his own attacks might be the key to the getting back in the game. When you get hit by the Winter's Curse, evasion will help you all of your clones, no matter which one's targeted, and maybe you need that. You need to evade the Ursa a little, evade your own Meepo strikes a little bit. While attack speed is the kind of cookie cutter build because it has a higher win rate, has more success, giving all the Meepos that extra damage output. Maybe you just need to live. I don't know.
It'll be an interesting situation that he is going to have to try to avoid dealing with that Wyvern ult any further here. Easy Roach pickup here for MP. MP will pocket up the Aegis.
Like, for example, I could see a Solar Crest being a really great tool for any member of OnyX. Like, I used to say, like, Lotus Orb is really good against Wyvern, but the way Groz has been using it, that's not really the case. You just need to E-Blade, essentially have the main Meepo back, and E-Blade it, or have an ally Solar Crest and just try to keep it alive that way. That's the only way it's going to really work.
Unfortunately, though, I mean, they have assisted tools, but in the form of, like, you know, 4 staffs. Hurricane, 1 for Mason. Jimmy's trying to finish out a 4 staff for himself. Dubu, as we know, has been unfortunately the punching bag for MP for the most part of this game.
Yeah.
So a new item is not coming his way anytime soon here unless they're able to try to move forward with some objectives. So things pretty thin here for OnyX at the moment. We'll have to see where it goes. But Envy confidently strutting his stuff down in the bottom lane, playing around smokes or something. We'll have to see what OnyX are going to do, man. I don't know. It's very grim.
Envy does get charged up here, but not really too much to speak of. He is actually going to be going for a Linked Sphere next. And he's going to go commit to Dubu and just crush him down. No problem at all. That negative armor from Dezo. Borrowing his buddy Owie's build, and it's very successful in just his heavy physical damage output. Even going now onto the Underlord, only 1 point in his passive, and it's not going to be enough to keep him alive.
Wow. I mean, was that a big Underlord? He looked like a creep the way he just fell. That was ridiculous. Envy hits so hard at this point. You don't want to be standing in front of him no matter who you are. Mason, to the high ground to TP. The Savage Roar will cancel it out. Nowhere feels safe. MP take another coast-to-coast kills here for Owies. He gets a double. Abed nearby, trying to poof away to safety, but the Malphus comes out from Owie, and they all converge in for the little guy. And it's another kill for Owie.
Honestly, at this point, the damage output from Owie and Envy is just unbearable.
I like what you did with that. I like what you did with that, Blaze. Very funny indeed. Oh, here comes MP, though, for closure on game number 1 in the lead in the series. OnyX probably feeling pretty confident to start this draft. You get your early signature Abed Meepo, but MP come prepared and ready and make it not look like too much of a threat whatsoever. 1 Rax goes down and MP pull off. Playing safe and keeping what winnings they got.
Yeah, and have you even felt the impact of silencer this game? Like, we talked about it, it's the opposite of, like, quick draw. It's you have to hold your ultimate the longest, and as a result, like, it just feels like this hero has been barely existent. Demon, he's stolen 4 intelligence this game. He's not been able to offer any controlling options, and obviously Dubu trying to make that happen has just been suicidal. It's just, at this point, NP have so much going for them, and it seems like it only gets worse from here. The Meepo starts tapering. He had to buy back there, so he can't even finish his last item. And there's actually a Lotus Orb up on the Wyvern of all heroes, so in a really good position to just make it very difficult to counteract play.
Yep. Or remove silence or anything like that. Like, it's the tools that are available to OnyX are becoming more and more irrelevant Mason able to slide and avoid trouble from NB here. Duke, who sees an opportunity to charge on in, hits up SVG. As he gets another strike, he just gets easily Savage Lord and then rooted down. Taken apart. Now it's going to be Bulba in a bit of trouble. He tries to go for the Dark Rip. Can he turn the corner and make it away? It looks like he may be able to juke away from Envy on this one.
Oh, Black Hole!
Rolls in, gets off the Poison Nova and quickly gets taken down on the other side. It's Envy who's going to help shred apart the rest of the Meepo army. And that will do it in that game. It's Envy who take game 1, 20-6 to lead things out.
You're playing against Team OnyX, you do not ban Meepo, and everything goes better than expected. That is a really well-executed strategy from MP, controlling the enemy jungle early, rotating really well in their... just from the draft.